In today's video, we're checking out a really versatile amp for either live use or home studio recording, thanks to the power attenuation on the back. This is the Marshall JCM 900. This amp was first introduced in the early 1990s, but they've made some adjustments to the studio version, which makes it great for home practice. Not only do we get a beautiful clean channel, we get an independent lead or high gain channel, which is really musical. One of the benefits of this amplifier over a lot of others is each channel has its own gain and volume control, and then we also get a master volume. And on the back of the amplifier, we can switch it from full 20 watts down to 5 watts if you just want to practice at home or record and still get a really great tone. Or of course, you can flip it all the way down to 1 watt, which sounds better than you might think, and I'll showcase that coming right up. On the back of the amp, you can see that this is made in England, so it's made at the UK factory, which is really cool. We get a Celestion G1275 speaker, which really works well in this amplifier. Sometimes they're a little bit hit and miss on certain amps, but in this, it really brings out the character of this amplifier. This amp only weighs 17.9 kilograms, or around 39 pounds, so it's nice and portable. Now, physically, the amp's about the same size as the Marshall DSL-20, so it's not a big amplifier whatsoever, which is cool. It's slightly bigger than a Blues Junior if you're familiar with either of those two amplifiers, but it's still nice and portable. I'm going to run you through a selection of tones today with my Les Paul, starting on the clean tone. The clean tones out of this amp are beautiful. I know a lot of people love the drive tones out of the JCM 900, but this clean tone is fantastic. We're going to be running the amplifier at full 20 watts, and then we'll test out the power attenuation a little later. Here we go. Let's start on the clean channel. Now, I've got the amp mic'd up with an AEA N22 ribbon microphone, and what you're about to hear is some dynamic playing. So I'm going to start by just playing soft and kind of palm muting the strings a little bit, and then I'll just play some bog standard chords, and you get a good sense of how this amp responds. Now, it's not pristine clean, especially with humbuckers, but I really love this tone. Have a listen. I've just cranked the gain up a little bit and left everything else set exactly the same, and this will give us some of that really nice old school sort of classic rock rhythm sound. And now with the gain cranked, but what I'm going to do is start with my volume control down so you can see just how dynamic this amplifier is. If you like to work your volume controls, you'll get a kick out of this. Over to the drive channel. Now what I'm going to do is leave everything set up the same here and cycle through different positions on the gain control. I'll start with it most of the way down, and by the end of this clip, you'll hear it at its maximum. those tones sound pretty great, but let us know what you think in the comment section and leave a thumbs up if you can. I appreciate it. On the back of the amplifier, we've got our power attenuation switch, so we're going to take a look at that right now. I'll start by playing a part at 20 watts, 5, and then 1. And then staying at 1, I'm going to boost it up in post-production so you can see how well it actually records, and then we'll comment on it in a moment. Listening back to the boosted audio in post-production at 1 watt, it's still very usable. So you can record at about a loud conversation level in the room. 5 watts is still pretty loud. 20 watts obviously will annoy the neighbors a little bit, but 1 watt is much quieter, and you could definitely get away with it if you're in a home studio or if you just want to practice at lower wattage. Now in the room, perceivably, it does drop the whole oomph out of the amplifier, but the great thing is having a mic so close to the amp, you can actually make it work if you plan on doing a recording, which is awesome. That's kind of the intention of these amplifiers. They're a studio model, which means they're great in the studio for home recording or late night practice where you don't want to annoy the neighbors. Not only is this amplifier extremely versatile, but it's made in the UK, so if that's important to you, this makes for a really great choice. If you want to check it out, I'll link it down in the description, and thanks to Sky Music for the loan of it. I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.